919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 4 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube on Iwer TV. In the headlines, a kitchen staff at the St. Anne's Hospital protest a lack of equipment provided for them to efficiently do their jobs. Thieves steal floodgate cover along the East Dry River, costing taxpayers thousands to replace. Schools will be closed on Friday to facilitate teachers' convention, and internationally, New York City rents have jumped faster than any other major U.S. city. And now the news in detail. Kitchen staff at the St. Anne's Hospital protested this morning over the lack of equipment provided in order for them to efficiently do their jobs. Cooks and bakers say the stoves at the hospital are malfunctioning and that there is a lack of water, which is creating difficulties in preparing meals for patients. The cooks banged pots and spoons during their protest this morning. Bandits have stolen one of the floodgate covers along the East Dry River near Abattoir Road in Port of Spain. The Works and Transport Minister said it will cost the state over $200,000 to replace. He said that the gate was a major tool in alleviating flooding in East Port of Spain and is now worried that nearby residents will be badly affected by future floods. Schools across the island will be closed on Friday to allow teachers to attend the National Convention of Education Professionals. Approval was granted to the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association for time off for teachers to attend. The convention takes place from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at each education district. As a result, schools will be closed on Friday to facilitate the convention. Internationally, rents in New York have increased faster than in any other major U.S. city over the past year, according to a report from Comptroller Brad Lander, who oversees the city budget. He said rent in New York was 19% higher in August compared to a year earlier versus a 12% gain nationally. The increases in the Big Apple were not limited to Manhattan, with rent up by more than 20% in 83 of the 150 zip codes being tracked. Lander said while there are signs that rent increases are starting to ease off, the big jump over the last year has made one of the most expensive cities in the world even less affordable and created an obstacle to inclusive economic growth. And that was the 4 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM, and online, Facebook and YouTube on Iwer TV. Recapping the headlines, kitchen staff at the St. Anne's Hospital protest lack of equipment provided for them to do their work efficiently. Thieves steal floodgate cover along the East Dry River, costing taxpayers thousands to replace. Schools will be closed on Friday to facilitate teachers' convention, and internationally, New York City rents have jumped faster than any other major U.S. city. Do enjoy your afternoon and continue to be safe. I am Vanessa Thomas.
News from the street. 919fm.com.
Bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM. 91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Yes. 91 days of Christmas. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas.
Want to furnish your home in style? Style Stylus Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Atelier's Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 51 Rushwood Street in San Fernando. Stylus Furniture, for the style in you.
The legendary Desperados Steel Orchestra presents their fundraising 5K run and walk on Sunday, October 16th, beginning and ending at the Pan Theater, corner Tragarete Road and Victoria Avenue in Port of Spain. Be treated with breakfast on the morning and a steel band clash afterwards, featuring First Citizens Supernovas, Shell Invaders, and the legends themselves, Desperados Steel Orchestra. Register now for only $125 at baffassports.com/Despers5K or call 283-1365. Breakfast tickets cost only $200 and will be available at the Pan Theater. It's Desperados Steel Orchestra's fundraising 5K and walk, breakfast, and Pan Jam on Sunday, October 16th. Come and show your love.
91.9 Bago Bashment presents On Board the Embassy Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week.
Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Weekend.
Boarding at the Pigeon Point Jetty. Kicking things off from the 24th to the 30th of October. Walk with your food and coolers. Come experience October 24th. Pan on the boat. October 25th. ISO on the boat. October 26th. Chutney on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. The party continues October 27th. Water on the boat. October 28th. Power Soca. October 29th. Groovy on the boat.
October 30th.
Juve on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. For tickets, call 814723-363-4030 or 368-1932 or check us out on Facebook at Embassy Cruises for bookings or email at embassycruises@gmail.com. Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend.
Carnival Ride
The first premier event of Tobago Carnival 2022. The ultimate carnival premier event. Your event celebrity cast. Starring Showin Winchester, Farmer Nabi, Viking Ding Dong, Swap Dan Swabi, Mr. Oscar B, the beautiful Adana, Mr. Iwer George, straight out of St. Vincent, Kenny Fabulous, Patrice Roberts, the soca queen herself, will be gracing the stage live with all her massive hits. October 25th, Pigeon Point Beach, Heritage Park. Are you ready?
It's Tobago Carnival! On Carnival Friday morning, after the concert, we board the Harbor Master for Last Love.
I don't want nobody to keep my matter clear.
Great Vet Weekend brings to you Last. Yeah, this is the official African Giant after party. So after the show, this is where everybody is heading. Straight from the concert to the boat ride. Boarding time is 4 a.m. We sail 5 a.m. sharp from Turtle Beach. Ticket packages available. $200 for boat ride only. $800 general admission. That's for concert and boat ride. $1,700 VIP admission for concert and boat ride. Hey, we talking vibes. All your favorite DJs going to be there. This is the boat ride you want to be on. We going right down on Friday, 28th of October. Carnival Friday morning. Tobago. We for the Harbour Master. The biggest boat ride for Tobago Carnival. Last.
Tune into the street 91.9 FM
Every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
for the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinau Thomas.
The scripture says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places."
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in.
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
We are the street. 919 FM. The only radio station bringing perfect balance between entertainment and talk. Updating you with current affairs and social issues.
So what, we should just sit down and take the foolishness that's being meted out because of all you feel that all you're real bad?
Right? Unlike his situation that I don't even want to go back and bring up and highlight.
You don't have a good record where that is concerned?
Having you in the loop with trends and entertainment. Providing music that lives on.
Darling, I feel the disco.
And spiritual food for the body, mind, and soul.
Satan soul face. We're not taking that.
The Street 919 FM.
Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Pleasant good evening to TNT and the world. The street has embarked on a peace treaty as we aim to bring back peace, love, and unity to the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, there's no life in war. There's only life in peace. The peace treaty on the 91... Sorry, let's say that again. The peace treaty on 91.9 FM... Bring back peace to the street.
The murder toll continues to rise. The nation is in mourning tonight.
3 people have been found dead. A soldier was shot dead at
a quadruple murder in Beverly Hills, Laventille.
Where are we right now?
We say bring back love.
Bring back love.
How we end up here today.
Bring back peace.
Bring back peace. Be your brother's keeper. We say bring back peace on the street.
I want peace. I want peace. Bring back peace on the street.
Bring back peace on the street.
Bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love. No greater time for peace.
Bring back peace on the street.
Yo, this is Jerry News representing for the thing called Street 91.9. Right, this segment is called Peace Treaty. Bring back the love on the street. Yo, that all we asking for. It's simple. Bring back the love on the street. Things getting out of hand.
Oh Lord, make me talk to them gunman, them why? Talk to them. Bam bam, brother, my journey, God alone I walk with me. Okay. I want them by them promoting, we better buy the gun thing, and I know what them want. Not ready like ready for no shelling. Swan it say watch your friend now, because me fed up by them friend killer. Why can't we just live like brother? Let love one another. Make the old days better. So we know one of our young leader. Make them buy come out of peer pressure. Why everybody wanna be a sasa? I know no access, them who I press. When a big chain and white vest. Them put mama in stress. When the maniac march out and leave one lifeless. Spanish and Sano, Lumpy Boss Movado. Telling maniac, beyond and KG. Listen what me tell you. We need more love in the ghetto. Sing some positive tune and set them get to you. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. So what's your friends who you're linking with? Cause they will lead you to your casket. All out, so me talk to them, buy them, tell them this positive music. Tell them gunman slow them roll. Tell them take it easy. Now rise up the murder toll. Prefer the pop print in Jersey. I love it, make the whole place better. So we know one of our young leader. Make them buy come out of peer pressure. Why everybody wanna be a sasa? I know no answers, them who are pass. When a big chain and white vest. Them put mama in stress. When the maniac march out and leave one lifeless. Spanish and Sano, Lumpy Boss Movado. Telling maniac, beyond and KG. Listen what me tell you. We need more love in the ghetto. Sing some positive tune and set them get to you. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. No. So let me sing about love. And let me sing about peace. Too much blood I running on the streets, yeah. And let me sing about love. Let me sing about peace. Too much blood I running on the street. Forget about the gun way long like Rapunzel. And with the big black rubber handle. I let them buy them, live up them dream. Forget about AR-15. Bam bam, brother, brother. My journey, God alone.
Bring back peace on the street.
Bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love. No greater time for peace.
The Street 919 FM.
Playing all the new music first on the street 919 FM.
Well, I don't. This garbage. Oh, ay, ay, ay. Well, I want to see everybody mad in the face. Oh, gosh, jump up now. 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 Oh, gosh, jump up, jump up. Jump up, jump up. Jump up, jump up. Jump up now. I will. Fed up. I'm not seeing all the people them jumping up. Jumping up. You should be real. Fed up. If all your friends and them they just standing up. Well. Like all you want to go back inside. No. I want to see every hand in the air. Act like if all you belong out there. Oh God, jump up now. Oh gosh, 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 jump up, jump up. Jump up, jump up, jump up. I say jump up, jump up. Jump up now. Let me see you jump. Let me see you wave. Let me see you jump. What are your money up on the stage? I want to see you jump. I want to see you wave. Oh gosh, jump up now. Oh gosh, jump up now. I'm begging you. Take a little wine on the road again. I'm begging you. In the hot sun or the fetid rain. Alright, fella. You come in the party and you just loving up. What kind of thing is that? You should be real, fella. Now is not the time to be hugging up. Check yourself, check yourself. Like all you want to go back inside. Well, I want to see every hand in the air. Act like if all you belong out there. Jump up now, oh gosh, jump up now, oh gosh, jump up now, oh gosh,
see you wave. Let me see you show up all your money up on the stage. Let me see you jump. Let me see you wave. Everybody jump up now. Jump up now. Done there? First time I wave around in the studio.
Music. Well. DJ Bravo. You have it. She have a champion. Bam bam. You have it. You have the champion.
So let me start off by saying a very special good afternoon to you, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Top of the afternoon to those of you on the web, locking us down right now via the Street 919 FM on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Big up all your whole self. Top of the afternoon to those of you locking us down right now from your home, your office, your car, wherever you're listening to my voice. I say thank you so much for choosing me. My name is Aisha Wells, and I am in your company until 7 o'clock. Let me say top of the afternoon to those of you locking us down in the sister island of Tobago. Tobago, as you know, it is your time to shine. Tobago is on the world stage right now as Tobago gets ready for Tobago Carnival. And don't think that we're not going to be a part of Tobago's Carnival. We are going to be, I kid you not. The Embassy Cruises is heading to Tobago. And I have the chart up right now on the chat, so you need to go online right now on Facebook and YouTube and take a look, yeah? So, I want to say top of the afternoon to those of you locking us down on YouTube. 251 viewers. Trevor. Hi, Anne. Good afternoon to you, Yvette. To Elizabeth, to Point Kumana. Sean Wharton. To Al, to Nigel Woodley. To the entire crew, Diane Payne and others viewing me right now on YouTube. And good afternoon to those of you viewing me on Facebook. Let me see how much the numbers looking like on Facebook. Facebook looking nice like a pie. Good afternoon to Joycelyn, Robert, to Maureen Braffett, Joanne B. Thomas. Good afternoon to you guys. So what you're looking at right now is the calendar of events for the Embassy Cruises. And I'm going to be reminding you about this throughout the show, because I don't want you to miss the opportunity to be a part of what's happening out there in Tobago. So 919 FM Bago Bashment presents Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week, the 24th to the 30th of October, 2022. Tickets are only 200 TT at islandtickets.com and the Street 919 office in Tobago. It's walk with your cooler and your food events, yeah? So on the day of the official launch, which is the 24th of October, it's pan on the boat from 12 to 4 p.m. And on the 25th, it's kaiso on the boat from 12 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 10. So those are two events. On the 26th, it's chutney on the boat from 12 to 4 p.m. and then 6 to 10 p.m. And on the 27th, it's water on the boat with the water lord himself, Neil Iwer George, from 12 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 10. And don't forget the 28th, it's power soak on the boat from 12 to 4. And on the 29th rather, it's groovy soca on the boat from 6 to 10 p.m. And on the 30th, it's Juve on the boat from 12 to 4 p.m. For more information, call 281-4723 and 363-4030 and 368-1932. It's Embassy Cruises for bookings on Facebook and embassycruises@gmail.com. Remember, group tickets are also available for those of you coming in from the US, Canada, England, all over the globe, willing to be a part of what's going on the sister island of Tobago. I can assure you that you can get on to Embassy Cruises and secure your group tickets. Today, we're going to be out in our numbers, and I'm going to be reminding you every chance I get today about what's happening in Tobago, because I don't want you to miss it. So, people, that is all I go say. Without further ado, for those of you who missed it, you're going to hear it. The Attorney General, Faris Al-Wari, responded to the media today via a press conference. And those of you called me all day saying it would, I thought all you're playing it on 91. I want to hear what Faris say. Well, take a listen. Faris has spoken. Let's go.
Listening public of Trinidad and Tobago, viewing public of Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you tuning in to the World Wide Web. I'm Faris Al-Rawi, the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government. I am appearing before the media this morning in my capacity as a member of the government and to speak in relation to matters that occupied my attention whilst I served as the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the period September 9th, 2015 to March 16th, 2022, nearly 7 years. Specifically, I have paid attention to the statements coming from the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, had a press conference yesterday. And in that press conference, she specifically observed and made a lot of statements coming in relation to the matter commonly referred to as the legal kickback fees matter. That is a matter in which Anand Ramlogan and Gerald Ramdeen were both charged by the Director of Public Prosecutions to answer matters of criminal nature in relation to statements revealed by a gentleman by the name of Vincent Nelson, now King's Counsel. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar made a number of observations yesterday, which I am compelled to put into context and to answer. Now, permit me to start off by indicating that the Director of Public Prosecutions, who has a constitutional role under Section 90 of the Constitution to institute charges, take over charges, and also to drop charges, acting in his sole discretion, took the step to charge Mr. Ramlogan and Mr. Ramdeen after he had received evidence coming from Mr. Vincent Nelson and a number of other persons. Mr. Gaspard, in his own discretion, unfettered, also took the step on the 10th of October, that is this Monday, to drop the charges against Mr. Ramlogan and Ramdeen, but the Director of Public Prosecutions specifically said two things that are of important note. Mr. Gaspard pointed out that his office considered applying to have Mr. Nelson's witness statements tendered into evidence without him having to testify and being cross-examined over the contents, but decided against it at that point. And specifically, Mr. Gaspard was careful to note that his office may decide to reinstate the charges after Nelson's lawsuit is eventually determined. I've made those observations because in speaking to the media today and in answering Mrs. Persad-Bissessar's wild and unfounded and untrue accusations, I'm compelled to point out that I am bound to be very careful in what I say because the Director of Public Prosecutions has to have the independent right to consider a matter, being careful that as a witness in proceedings that I do not overspeak the matter. The Privy Council has been very clear in its position to warn that trials ought to be fair. And in doing that, in a very famous case in Trinidad and Tobago, Nankisoon Budram, that's a Dole Chedi case, the Privy Council also gives certain guidance as to cooling off period. The cooling off period means that a fair trial must be ensured and that the population needs to be given enough chance for a matter which has been the subject of a lot of conversation or undue publicity. The population must be given a chance for that to be cooled off and time is given before a trial is commenced. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to state very plainly that Mrs. Persad-Bissessar's attempt is one to bait the government, and in particular me, to overspeak on a matter, to fall into a trap of undue publicity where attorneys can argue that their clients will not have a fair trial because there's too much information in the public domain. Therefore, I need to be careful in my regard for the law, to allow the DPP his distance, and to be mindful as a former Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs in this country that the law always speaks and that the Privy Council decision must be observed. So I will be very careful not to fall into a trap laid by Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar to overspeak the matter. Now, let's get very plainly to the allegations that Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar has put forward. The population is well aware since 2015 that the government has been concerned about expenditure under the People's Partnership Government, and in specific context, with over $1.2 billion in legal expenditure for legal briefs and other matters under Mr. Ram Logan and the government, the then government's hand, Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar's government, that some $636 million alone was spent by the Attorney General's office under Anand Ram Logan as Attorney General. That's the amount of money that was spent together with the amount of money that was left over that had to be paid. Arising out of that, and being careful to state the matters that are in the public domain, I can tell you that Mr. Vincent Nelson, then Queen's Counsel, gave a notarized statement that is on the 26th of October 2017 is the date of that notarized statement, and in that notarized statement he gave particulars of conspiracy to defraud the public. Mr. Nelson's notarized statement specifically said that Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen were the beneficiaries of corruption, that he paid bribes to Mr. Ram Logan via Mr. Ramdeen in a fictitious arrangement. He gave full particulars, he provided the evidence, he provided the bank statements, he provided the wire transfer information. Immediately upon receiving that information, I retained lawyers on behalf of the state. That team was headed by Mr. Douglas Mendez, Senior Counsel, and Mr. Gilbert Peterson, Senior Counsel. And as a result of that, the advice given to the Office of the Attorney General was that there's an obligation to bring wrongdoing of this nature to the attention of the authorities. Senior Counsel Mr. Mendez specifically settled a written indemnity agreement that he advised that the state enter into, and under that written indemnity agreement, the specific context was that the notarized statement and the evidence of wrongdoing will be given to the Director of Public Prosecutions and to the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau. In that indemnity statement as well, the state undertook on the advice of Senior Counsel that no civil proceedings would be commenced for the recovery of legal fees that were paid to Mr. Nelson, and also that there would be a certain amount of indemnity if there was a breach of the indemnity in giving that statement to persons who ought not to have that statement. That was specifically subject to the Attorney General's obligations in law and under statute. So it was a very qualified, careful indemnity settled by Mr. Mendez, Senior Counsel. After that, I can tell you that Mr. Nelson then participated on at least 10 occasions in confirming his guilt in the matter and in confirming his position in relation to the fact, as he alleges, that Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen were guilty of bribery and other matters in stealing taxpayers' money by way of kickback of legal fees. Specifically, Mr. Nelson gave written statements to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. He did so in 2019, January, in February 2019, in May 2019. Mr. Nelson then entered into a plea discussion with the Director of Public Prosecutions. I want to remind that under the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, there's a specific piece of law. It's Act number 12 of 2017. It is called the plea bargaining legislation, putting it in simple terms. It is an act assented to on the 27th of September 2017. In that particular act, the act was to establish a system of plea discussion and plea agreements and for matters incidental thereto. Mr. Nelson, under that law, proceeded to engage in a direct discussion with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions via his attorneys at law. The Office of the Attorney General had no part or parcel of that, save that I, as Attorney General, carried out my obligations and provided the DPP with the material that was provided to the state, which is the notarized statement, as well as the indemnity settled by senior counsel. The plea discussion occurred in the period February 2019 to May 2019. In that, the Office of the DPP and Mr. Nelson and his attorneys, they participated in a discussion. They then entered into a plea agreement under the legislation. That is the Office of the DPP and Mr. Nelson. And that was entered before a magistrate on the 2nd of May 2019. That plea agreement, again, involved no participation of the Office of the Attorney General. As you know, under the Constitution, the Office of the Attorney General deals only with civil matters, not with criminal matters. That plea agreement is a matter which the DPP settled, and that was entered before the Magistrates Court. The next step under the law is that you have to refer the plea agreement before a judge of the High Court. And I can tell you that that matter of the plea agreement and whether the court would accept it was sent to Mr. Justice Malcolm Holdip, and in the period June 2019 to December 2019, that judge had appearances involving Mr. Nelson and the Director of Public Prosecutions, and that plea agreement was entered into. Mr. Nelson, of course, pled guilty to the crimes that he negotiated that he should plead guilty to with the Office of the DPP, to the exclusion of the Office of the Attorney General. Mr. Nelson was sentenced before Mr. Justice Malcolm Holdip on March 2nd, 2020. After that, it is now a matter of public knowledge, and certainly a matter that has been inside of the DPP's office, that the DPP had to obtain witness statements from several persons. I can confirm that I provided 4 witness statements to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, comprising hundreds of pages. And those 4 witness statements gave full disclosure of every bit of correspondence, all documents, correspondence passing between attorneys at law for the Office of the Attorney General, the Attorney General's correspondence as well with local and international agencies, and very specifically, all of the correspondence with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. There is an obligation in law of full disclosure in criminal proceedings, and you must disclose a case which is detrimental to you. In other words, then, you can't hide anything. All of those hundreds of pages of documents were disclosed to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The DPP, of course, exercises full control over that matter, and the matter was docketed before the Chief Magistrate, and they were making arrangements for the preliminary inquiry to be proceeded with. The disclosure to the Office of the Attorney, from the Office of the Attorney General to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and specifically to Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen in writing, also included disclosing civil proceedings brought by Mr. Nelson against the state, where he alleged that there was a breach of the indemnity which senior counsel settled. That matter is listed before the High Court. That matter has been sealed at the request of Mr. Nelson because of pretrial publicity, again with the caution of pretrial publicity affecting criminal proceedings, which are either in existence or which are contemplated. And I remind you where I started off by pointing out that the media has covered the Director of Public Prosecutions, indicating that he's considering the matter of relaying the charges if he considers it appropriate at some point in the future. In treating with that particular matter, I can tell you that of the 10 occasions that I have listed, Mr. Nelson has never changed his evidence. He has never changed his evidence. He has confirmed his guilt on at least 10 occasions across the period 2017 right up to 2022. I can tell you that the state's position in relation to the civil claim is that you can claim what you want. A claim is not an actuality. Contrary to Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's wild allegations that the state has paid Mr. Nelson's fine, if it is that she has said it that way, it may have been reported differently, I can tell you that that is not true. And I can tell you that the civil proceedings, there is a robust defense, and that is being prosecuted, and the Attorney General, Mr. Reginald Armour, Senior Counsel, will indeed continue in the conduct of that matter, together with whatever other steps the Attorney General may advise are appropriate in the circumstances, including further litigation if necessary, both locally and abroad. I cannot and will not speak to those matters. That is a matter for the Office of the Attorney General. Mrs. Prasad Bisessa has made a few wild allegations. First of all, that in the discharge of my responsibilities as Attorney General, whilst I held the office, that I interfered with the Office of the the Director of Public Prosecutions. That is not the case, and that is to be borne out by the actual evidence in the matters. Secondly, Mrs. Prasad Bisessa has taken to cherry-picking bits and pieces of correspondence. I remind that there are hundreds of pages of witness statements from my hand alone, 4 of them, and that Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's attempt to drop a piece here and a piece there out of context must be looked at with great suspicion, reminding you that the intention, as I see it, is to ask the state to fall into a trap of over-speaking the matter and causing pre-trial publicity, which is why I am today confining myself to matters which are in the public domain solely. Mrs. Prasad Bisessa has alleged that the DPP did not have disclosure. That is clearly not the case, because all of the documents were passed to the DPP in the form of witness statements and prior to witness statements being dealt with. The leader of the opposition has alleged that there's a bias of police investigation. That is a matter for the Trinidad and Tobago Police. I want to remind that the government transferred the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau back to the Trinidad and Tobago Police and removed the involvement of the Attorney General's office. That cabinet note which created the ACIB in the Office of the Attorney General was a very careful one. It never allowed the Attorney General to interfere in matters, but out of caution, the Prime Minister and the cabinet returned the ACIB back to the police. The leader of the opposition has made an incredible statement saying that there were shocking revelations by the DPP about the conduct of Faris Al-Rawi. That's me. I hate it when people refer to themselves in the third person, but I'm reading what she said. I can see absolutely no statement that I'm aware of where the DPP has made any condemnation of me personally or of the Office of the Attorney General. I have seen none of that, and that is to be flatly rejected. I can tell you, in relation to Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's allegation that there's some secret indemnity agreement, that could not be the case because those matters were completely disclosed. And I want to remind you that at every step of the way in the discharge of my responsibilities, then as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, I had the benefit of senior counsel advice, which I carefully followed and carried out to the letter. The people of Trinidad and Tobago were faced with a position where a witness came and confessed to criminal conduct which involved Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen, and therefore there's a public duty on the Office of the Attorney General to have acted in those circumstances. The Director of Public Prosecutions is an independent office created under the Constitution. The DPP's function in treating with the plea bargain and the plea agreement and all other matters, including the discontinuance temporarily of the Ram Logan Ramdeen matters, That is entirely a matter for the Office of the DPP. I have the greatest regard for the Director of Public Prosecutions and have absolutely no comment to make in relation to the office holder or the exercise of the office as it has unfolded. I'd like to tell you in relation to Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's allegation that there's a secret sweetheart deal. I can tell you that there's no such thing. Any civil claim that is unfolding is one that is merely a claim. I can say very simply that the state's position is that that claim is bound to fail. And that is the advice coming from Mr. Mendez and Mr. Peterson, both eminent silk in this country, who are in charge of that litigation. That is now safely in the hands of Mr. Armour, Senior Counsel, who is the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Mrs. Prasad Bisessa made some comments in relation to Roger Kewal Singh and alleged and then called for investigations into my relationship with Mr. Kewal Singh. I'd like to tell you she referred to Mr. Kewal Singh's purchase of a vehicle from me back in 2016. I want to remind that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on June 15, 2022 wrote to me and no doubt wrote to Mrs. Prasad Bisessa, and this is what the TTPS had to say. It said, I refer to a letter dated 1st October 2021 from the Leader of the Opposition, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisessa, on the subject, which is an investigation into the failure of Faris Arawi to transfer motor vehicle registration PCY 84 to Mr. Roger Kewal Singh, and the failure to notify the Transport Commissioner of a change of ownership contrary to Section 19 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act. The Commissioner of Police said in his written correspondence, the file, he says, on the subject, and informed that a comprehensive investigation was conducted into the allegations made therein. The file was submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions for his perusal. However, there was insufficient evidence to substantiate the allegations made therein. As such, I have decided to close this matter pending any further developments. And that is a letter from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service after consultation with the Office of the DPP. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, again, as a matter in the public domain and as a matter of context, that Mr. Nelson, in his allegations, has pointed to criminal conduct by Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen. That criminal conduct is something which the DPP still has under his gaze, as he has publicly stated. I'd like to also let you know that in relation to the prosecutions, Mr. Nelson's particular conduct, Mr. Nelson was charged, and again, this is in the public domain. Mr. Nelson was charged with the following offenses: conspiracy with Vincent Nelson that Anand Ramlogan misbehaved in public office of the Attorney General by accepting rewards from Vincent Nelson for Vincent Nelson being instructed as advocate in various matters in which the state was interested or in which the state was the client, contrary to common law. What does that mean? He accepted bribes. Secondly, conspiracy with Vincent Nelson to receive, conceal, and transfer criminal property, to wit, financial rewards given to Anand Ramlogan by Vincent Nelson, being instructed as advocate in various matters in which the state was interested or in which the state was the client, contrary to common law. And thirdly, conspiracy with Vincent Nelson to corruptly receive financial rewards from the said Vincent Nelson, being instructed as advocate in various matters in which the state was interested or in which the state was client, contrary to common law. Those are the charges, forgive me, against Attorney General Anand Ramlogan then and Gerald Ramdeen. And they were arrested on the 1st of May 2019. So I want to remind you in terms of context, notarized statement in 2017, state settled indemnity by senior counsel in 2017, disclosure to the DPP all throughout the period, investigation by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in 2018, plea discussion, plea agreement, entry of plea of guilt, sentencing before a judge. In the exercise of that, the only participants there were the Office of the DPP and the police and the judge in terms of the one side of the state. representatives for Mr. Nelson would have dealt with him. I'd like to say in relation to Mrs. Prasad's allegations that there was something untoward about the state engaging in certain payments. I'd like to tell you that that matter is properly before the courts. It was the subject of written advice and other advice coming from eminent silk to the Office of the Attorney General, and there was full disclosure of all matters involving this matter in 4 witness statements from me and at every point along the way, and there are witnesses to all of these events. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has referred to Mr. Roger Kewal Singh as a junior lawyer who received, according to her, millions of dollars in legal briefs. I'd like to remind the population that as Attorney General, I accounted to the nation and to the Parliament, and I confirm that the Office of the Attorney General, under my watch, paid Mr. Kewal Singh some $3.7 million. That is particularized in a statement laid before the Parliament. I can also tell you that Mr. Roger Kewal Singh received legal briefs from Mrs. Prasad Bisesa as the leader of the government, in her government handing him legal briefs at the Office of the Attorney General and in state enterprises. And I have confirmed that Mr. Kewal Singh received upward of $6 million in legal fees under the UNC watch. And if therefore Mr. Kewal Singh, who has been in practice for 29 years, called in 1993, if he was a junior attorney under my watch, surely he was therefore in kindergarten receiving multi-million-dollar briefs under Mrs. Prasad Bisesa. So I would really like you to put things into context. I don't need to speak for Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, but I would just tell her to be careful. She would also have to explain why Mr. Kewal Singh was counsel of choice in the Commission of Inquiry into the Clico matter appointed by her government.
We're going to pause here because the thing just starts to get juicy. We're going to go for a break in a short while, but before we go for a break, hold on, Faris, just now.
An attorney under the Commission of Inquiry. Everybody knows that commissions of inquiry fall under the office of the Prime Minister. So Mrs. Prasad Bisesa perhaps has forgotten the facts in relation to her own government's conduct. I'd like to say that in relation to the state's position, I think that
Paris, hold your horses, we coming back. But before we go, let me remind you guys that we're heading over to Tobago for Embassy Cruises. 459 on YouTube. Let me make sure all your day. Hold on, 459 on YouTube. Nice, we looking good, we looking good. 460 on Facebook. So the embassy is going to Tobago, and it's a Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week. Remember, it's the 24th to the 30th of October 2022. Tickets are just $200, and you can get them at the 919 office in Tobago or at islandtickets.com. It's a walk with your food and cooler event. On the 24th is pan on the boat. On the 25th, kaiso on the boat. 26th is chutney on the boat. 27th, water on the boat. 28th, power soca on the boat. 29th, groovy on the boat. On the 30th, it's the Juve on the boat. You're getting an all-out package, an entire carnival experience. You can't afford to miss it. For more information, call 281-4723 or 363-4830 or 368-1932 or visit Embassy Cruises bookings on Facebook or Embassy Cruises at gmail.com. We're getting ready to go for a break. We're going for them people break, and we will be right back. Stay with us. It's gonna be Mass in Tobago.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over. For all and sundry we will cater. Who tell them a taste was enough? Who tell them a taste was enough? Who tell them a taste was enough? Who tell them a taste would I ever be enough? Yeah, they really make we suffer. I'm going to go right down till it's over.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Want to furnish your home in style? Stylus Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Ateliers Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 51 Rushwood Street in San Fernando. Stylus Furniture, for the style in you.
91.9 Bago Bashment presents On Board the Embassy Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week.
Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Weekend.
Boarding at the Pigeon Point Jetty. Kicking things off from the 24th to the 30th of October. Walk with your food and coolers. Come experience October 24th. Pan on the boat. October 25th. ISO on the boat. October 26th. Chutney on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. The party continues October 27th. Water on the boat. October 28th. Power Soca. October 29th. Groovy on the boat.
October 30th.
Juve on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. For tickets, call 814723-363-4030 or 368-1932 or check us out on Facebook at Embassy Cruises for bookings or email at embassycruises@gmail.com. Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend.
Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend.
91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Yes, 91 days of Christmas. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas. October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
The Street Mass in Tobago.
All your street mass in Tobago.
Where the uniqueness of Tobago comes alive. With its carnival, creatives produce music, craft, mass, literature, and other memorabilia that ignites the history and creativity of Tobago.
It's
the Street Mass in Tobago, right here on the street. 919 FM.
Mud is life!
Mud and mud! Mud is life. Great Fed Weekend. Mud Mass! Kong Point, Tobago.
Saturday, 29th of October, Juve morning in Tobago. Mud is life! Hey!
Tobago Carnival. Jesus! Hey, mud is life. Mud is life. Tobago Carnival. Mud is life.
Hey! From 4 to 9 a.m., we take over the streets of Kong Point. Then, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we head to the headquarters at Crusoe Drive for extreme mud play and fun. For more information, you can visit mudislifeexperience.com.
Mud is Life, Mud Mass, Tobago Carnival, Crown Point, Tobago, 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. You know it is Tobago.
Mass with Mother's Life.
The first premier event of Tobago Carnival 2022. The ultimate carnival premier event. Your event celebrity cast. Starring Showin Winchester, Farmer Nabi, Viking Ding Dong, Swap Dance Swappy, Mr. Oscar B, the beautiful Adana, Mr. Iwer George, straight out of St. Vincent, Skinny Fabulous, Patrice Roberts, the soca queen herself, will be gracing the stage live with all her massive hits. October 25th, Pigeon Point Beach, Heritage Spa. Are you ready?
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division?
Yes, sir.
I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it true? You have batteries selling for $488?
Yes, Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I could buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arrowbita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago. You could call 63 Tools.
All right. Thanks, boss. Nah, man. Granny,
do you have $488 to lend, man?
Tune into the street 91.9 FM
every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
for the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinau Thomas.
The scripture says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in."
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108. Join Nicole Huggins for Health and Wealth Lifestyle Tuesday morning from 11:05 to 12 noon. Right here on the street 919 FM.
Renting a car in Tobago should be quick, affordable, and easy.
Wow.
Here at Onia Rentals, we make the process as simple as possible by using our easy e-sign-up. Yep, we can sign you up from just about anywhere using our tablets. See? All done. And everything goes straight into the cloud. Yeah, you're on your way. Are you coming to Tobago? Book your car rental with us and enjoy the most affordable rates in Tobago. But hurry, because cars go pretty fast. Call 361-1042. That's 361-1042. One more time, 361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals, Tobago, taking you further.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Thursday from 10:05 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. for the program Straight and Narrow, The Way of Life, The Health Store, being brought to you by Mrs. Arlene Collins Mohammed. For more information, check us out on Facebook or Instagram at Straight and Narrow, or visit our website at www.opulence.com/Arlene4Life. You can also call or WhatsApp at 309-4697 or 620-9379.
Every Friday, it's all about Firewood Soca Fridays with MC Duke and Selector Kochi from 6 straight to 9 p.m. blazing all the latest and past soca hits. So remember, make it a line, make it a day. Rock and come in, you know. It's all about Fire Moon Soca Fridays on the Street 919 FM. You don't know.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. to the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You, and every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All Night Prayer Live, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Valentine Garcia.
And I'm Nikki Garcia.
Please join us on the Final Hour broadcast every Thursday at 9 a.m. on the Street 919 FM radio.
Every week we will journey into the amazing Word of God. So please join us.
See you then.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, beautiful people. We are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We head right back to the former Attorney General, Faris Alwari, as he addresses issues raised by the opposition leader at her press conference last evening.
That context is very important. The state, in summary, was placed in a position with written evidence coming from a person who confessed to guilt. That written evidence was then interrogated by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It was the subject of advice and action by the Director of Public Prosecution's Office. It was the subject of criminal charges leading to conviction and sentence. It was also the subject of further action in criminal charges being laid against Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen for their criminal conduct. Those matters have been discontinued by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, but I want to remind that the DPP has specifically said, and I'm quoting from newspaper coverage of his positions, Gaspard was careful to note that his office may decide to reinstate the charges after Nelson's lawsuit is eventually determined. I will also remind, again from newspaper coverage, Mr. Gaspard pointed out that his office considered applying to have Nelson's witness statements tendered into evidence without him testifying. It is for those reasons that the matter is still alive before the DPP, in which I have no place or circumstance and will offer no advice, nor will the state intrude upon the DPP's exercise of his office. What I can say is that those are very material observations. I'll end before taking questions by saying Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is not a person without an interest in this matter. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has declared that she is out to protect her members. She has declared that Mr. Ram Logan is her Attorney General, and in her mind is the only person should occupy that office. She has a vested interest in recovering his reputation. These are matters of criminal conduct reported and passed through a system which was very carefully managed, by receiving expert advice from eminent senior counsel and silk and external counsel as well. And therefore, this thing has been very carefully managed. The trap will be to step outside of what is in the public domain and get into the material of the matter. Anytime you start to talk about the matter, what you're going to do is you're going to fall into the trap of undue public influence or over public discussion or unfair trial issues, because there may be a prejudice to defendants in having to answer allegations where the population, particularly if you're going to have a jury where the population has had too much discussion. The Privy Council has offered guidance in very careful circumstances in the Nankisoon Budram case that the state is bound to observe. I have confined myself solely and squarely to matters that are in the public domain and that have been published, particularly the charges and matters have all been published. I will not and cannot step into the particulars of what my witness statements say or don't say. I can tell you that before I left the Office of the Attorney General, that there are other matters that are being watched at internationally. There is a difficulty in something called tipping off, where you cannot say certain things. But when I held that office as central authority with an obligation for mutual legal assistance, all that I can tell you without tipping off anybody is that these matters are far from finished. I'm prohibited to say anything else. I'm certainly not the holder of the Office of the Attorney General. The Attorney General is a very capable person who will speak to matters if and when he can, and when prudent to do so, in the public interest. So in now opening the floor to questions, please, good members of the media, understand that I am constrained to make sure that we don't fall into the trap of giving Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that get-out-of-jail card that she so desperately wants. May I open the floor to your questions? Is it Andrea Murray?
Hi. Good morning.
Sorry, AZP News, Priya Bihari.
Yes, good morning, Minister. Minister, one of the issues that under Mr. Prasad Bisesa raised was that how come Mr. Kewal Singh, who is representing Mr. Nelson in a claim against the state, how come he has been paid $6.6 million in legal fees by the state?
So, first of all, I just gave the caution that the particulars of a case and getting into the details of what is before the court is not something that can be done. I don't accept what Mrs. Prasad Bisesa says as truth or truth in context. And all that I can tell you is that the state had the benefit of senior counsel's advice in relation to all steps that were taken, and that has been disclosed in writing in witness statements before the court.
So has the state therefore paid Mr. Kewal Singh for representing Mr. Nelson in the civil case brought by him against the state?
So I'm trying to be very respectful, Priya, in telling you, as I've said before, that I'm prohibited from getting into the details, because once you ask one question, views are going to be cast in relation to it one way or the other. So regrettably, I'm not on cross-examination here this morning. What I am is explaining in context that the matters are before the court and that the DPP has indicated that he's still considering his steps in relation to reinstituting proceedings, and therefore I cannot overspeak the matter. What I can tell you is that every cent that has been paid to every lawyer in Trinidad and Tobago whilst I held the office has been laid in Parliament. It's a public document. Thank you.
Why did you go for indemnity agreement as opposed to a presidential pardon for Mr. Nelson?
Again, the law sets out how you apply for a presidential pardon. You must make an application. The state does not represent Mr. Nelson and cannot advise him. And all that I can repeat is that senior counsel's advice to the government, to the Office of the Attorney General, was that it was appropriate to take the steps in the very limited form of indemnity on civil matters that were offered. The indemnity offered by the state is very careful, settled by Mr. Mendez, and it does not speak for the office of the DPP. It specifically acknowledges that the DPP and the police will be given all material, and that the DPP and the police will do as they see fit. That, again, is the subject of litigation, and the indemnity will have to be read in its full context, in its full meaning, for its true purpose. We have another question coming from Akash Samaru.
Hi, good morning, Minister.
Good morning.
Minister, did the Cabinet and by extension the Prime Minister approve this indemnity agreement?
The matter of the Office of the Attorney General's position is again the subject of disclosure into the court. Agreements that come under the Office of the Attorney General are under the Office of the Attorney General. The Constitution sets that out in Section 76 and 79, and the matters are carefully managed. I don't want to get into the details, again, respectfully, because the matters are under the watch of the DPP and also in the civil proceedings.
Okay, even though you said that the DPP may pick up the matter again in the future, you're saying that right now, even though there's no case specifically for this in front of the court, you can't say anything about it, whether or not the Cabinet approved, the Prime Minister approved?
Well, I can't speak for the office of the DPP, as I said before. What I can tell you is that the DPP's comments quoted in the press are specifically, and I'll read it again, Gaspard was careful to note that his office may decide to reinstate the charges after Nelson's lawsuit is eventually determined. And I did say quite cryptically, without being able to go into the details, that there are other matters afoot, including international arrangements. So I can't speak to those factors yet.
Minister, in retrospect, right, do you feel as if you would have shot yourself in the foot by getting involved in the process with this indemnity agreement, in retrospect?
I don't feel one way or the other. I took the advice of eminent senior counsel in relation to the obligations of the Office of the Attorney General and followed that advice. The simple fact is, somebody came forward and said they stole money from the government, and they pointed fingers at two other people who stole money as well, according to the statement, Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen. Perhaps I should return the question by saying, what did you expect the state to do in the face of information? Remember, there's a distinction between the Office of the Attorney General on the civil side, and there's a distinction between the Office of the DPP, and there's been no cross-threading of those two issues. Should Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen just be given a bly and the state does nothing? That was the question. So the state took the responsible step of asking for advice, receiving that advice and acting accordingly. Newsday, we have a question from you. Forgive me, I haven't received the name. I apologize.
That's all right. Good morning, Narissa Fraser.
Good morning,
I know you
Fraser.
mentioned some of the what you described as wild claims from the opposition leader, but I wanted your feedback on her calls for your resignation, if possible.
I've often jokingly said that, and I mean this with the greatest of respect to a lady, I've often said that Kamala, I don't want your crush. She's been calling for my resignation for 13 years straight. The day Mrs. Prasad Bisesa didn't call for my resignation, I think she'd be ill. So I know that her mission is to try and unseat her opponents. She's entitled to the freedom of expression and political expression, and I respect that freedom in this country. But Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has been calling for my head for 13 years straight. There's a follow-up question from Akash, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. What would be your message to taxpayers of this country who are of the opinion that their money was wasted by all of this?
Okay, so we're dealing with litigation. And Akash, you've raised a very important point. This country has billions of dollars spent in tax-paying dollars pursuing litigation. Let's look at a matter which I recused myself from, but I'll just comment on from afar, from CLICO. Let's look at Life Sport. Let's look at Piarco Airport. It seems to be that there's always a choice. Do something or do nothing. When you are an office holder, you are obliged to take advice. I certainly did that. I didn't advise myself on any of these matters. I consider Mr. Mendez to be one of the most eminent silk in the world, certainly in the Caribbean and definitely in Trinidad. And I consider Mr. Peterson, who has often represented the state on multiple matters, to be also eminent silk. And they are only two of the attorneys that we took advice from. What I can say is that the state has an obligation to act when you're faced with a written confession from somebody who has confessed to crimes and are pointing out to high office holders. You have a choice. You have to take action or you don't. That is costly. And in the case of Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen, they are well represented. I mean, Mrs. Elder is no cheap lawyer. Mrs. Elder was the beneficiary of millions and millions of dollars of state briefs for the excellent work that she conducted for the state at her part. She's a seasoned attorney at law. And they have taken every step in law that they're entitled to take. That is an expensive process. So the wheels of justice are frustrating. And yes, they are expensive. And yes, there's now a call for movement and quickness. Whilst I held the office of AG, I did my very best in my time at the wheel to improve the systems of justice by declogging systems and creating divisions of court and removing matters from the court. But the systems have to go to work. One thing a government can't do and will not do under Prime Minister Rowley is interfere with the office of the DPP. Mr. Gaspard is a very respected senior counsel who holds that office, and he has an unfettered discretion that we will not complain about. There are still significant matters that Mr. Ram Logan and Mr. Ramdeen have to answer to. The DPP has said that he's considering that position as time moves ahead, and I will not interfere with the Office of the Attorney General, nor with the Office of the DPP. Priya, I understand that you want to rejoin?
Yes, Minister. Have you spoken to the Prime Minister about this issue?
I have. Yes, I have, but not in any detail. The Prime Minister leaves matters of legal affairs to the Attorney General. There's nothing to speak to the... Listen, these are not new allegations, you know. Let me remind you, Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's near entire budget contribution last year was on Faris. Her budget statements, Faris. Her platform statements, Faris. It's why I jokingly and most respectfully say, Mrs. Prasad Bisessa, I don't want your crush. And Mrs. Prasad Bisessa is not somebody who doesn't have a very vested interest in protecting Mr. Ram Logan. Who knows what secrets they keep between themselves? I don't know. Okay, it seems that we are out of questions.
Minister,
Prior?
Did you take the indemnity agreement before the cabinet?
You've come back to ask the same question I've answered already.
What?
Akash? Yes, please, Akash.
Yeah, I was waiting to get unmuted there. You were speaking about claims from the opposition leader's press conference yesterday. She also did claim that Mr. Nelson is suing the state for $150 million. Is that true?
Mr. Nelson has brought a claim where effectively he is saying that he wants to ask the court to consider payment of sums, including sums which he would have earned had he not been put out of his chambers, etc., because he was convicted. Those are claims which the state stoutly resists, and the advice coming from senior counsel Mendez and also Mr. Peterson and their team of attorneys is that their case is bound to fail. I mean, let me remind you, Akash, there are cases all the time where people make wild claims in pursuit of matters. Mr. Nelson is represented currently by a gentleman named Shankar Bidesi. Shankar Bidesi, as you know, is somebody that has done a lot of work on behalf of the PP government under Mr. Ram Logan. I can't say anything more than putting forward a ridiculous claim is going to be doomed to fail. Now, I would love that matters could be argued in a panchayat system out in the public. But again, the state has to be very careful to marshal itself, to not overspeak beyond matters that are carefully dealt with. Because Mrs. Prasad Bisessa wants this country to fall into a trap of allowing Ram Logan and Ramdeen to get off scot-free. And that is called pre-trial publicity. There are civil proceedings, and the DPP has clearly said that he's reserving his right to come back to this matter, being careful from the newspaper advertisements, articles that I have read, to mark the spot on this. The Privy Council learning in the Nankisoon Budram case is very clear that you need to be sure that you don't overspeak the matter, because then the DPP may be forced to enter into the arena. Again, the office of the DPP is well represented by the DPP himself and Mr. Ed Jenkins, who is his Queen's Counsel, now King's Counsel, who has advised on this matter from day one and who received all of the statements coming from the Office of the Attorney General with full disclosure, with hundreds of pages of documents. All of that is well received, and I will perhaps end by saying I have not seen a public criticism of me personally coming from the office of the DPP. I don't think there is any need for that. What I wanted to do was to tell people quite simply, watch Mrs. Prasad Visesa Kokiai. She has a vested interest in this matter, and she's entitled to be an advocate for her people, but the state has an obligation to manage its affairs. The Office of the Attorney General has conduct of these matters on the civil side, and the Office of the DPP will consider whatever it wishes to consider without any interference from the Office of the Attorney General, and certainly not from me. My obligation was to give witness statements. I'll remind, I am also a witness in matters against Mr. Ram Logan for his witness tampering matter. And Mr. Ram Logan is still on another criminal charge. Mr. Ram Logan has just, as I read in the papers, started civil litigation in relation to those matters. So that's a matter for the courts at this point. Matters are properly in the courts. And I wish to thank ladies and gentlemen of the media for their questions and for allowing me this opportunity to put things into context. Thank you all so much and have a good day.
Papa. Well, we're in, and let the calls begin. So you heard Kamla Prasad Visesa. You heard Faris Alwari. Are you comfortable with Faris's explanation for the allegations made? Yesterday, you weighed in, and those of you wanted to wait for Faris to respond. Faris has responded. Are you comfortable with Faris's explanation? We go directly to the phone lines. Caller, you live.
Comrade.
Talk to me, comrade.
Comrade, Jenny is so correct that when she said that that case is, the meaning of the word is continue. You hear what the former AG said? What Gaspar said? The case is open until the civil is settled. When that's settled, Jenny coming back to that case. Wait, because here's my comrade. It have witness statement signed, you know, that man, Vincent Nelson, admit that there was some stealing. Comrade, you can't get away from that, you know. That is evidence there already that Vincent Nelson get plea bargaining because of those witness statements. You know? Okay, comrade, I'll leave it here.
Caller, you live. Caller, you live.
Yes, good afternoon to my sister.
Hi, dear brother.
Yes. I feel good when I heard Alwari speak this. Because you see, I tell you, if this thing was real, those two Ram would have jumped out there and started a gallery in Trinidad. If the case is thrown out, you understand? They were a gallery through Trinidad. But they know that the DPP said that could come. Long as the man wants to testify, the matter that they have pending there, when they're done and the man ready to testify, he could bring back up that. So they know that. So can I just run out there according to what Alwari is saying? If you run out there, the kind of type the case, you understand? Let the former attorney go into the case and start to reveal things from the case. And then they call for public state, of the case. And that is what she said. Kamla is not smart. Kamla is not smart. Because she should know that. And that is the woman who want to lead this country. That is the woman who want to say she wants to get back into power. to control our country when she cannot speak the truth. And you say, no, Alvary lying. I believe Alvary. I believe him because PNM don't be in this kind of stupidness. We stand as an institution to govern this country and govern it in the right way. And you understand? So I feel proud when I hear Alvary come and lay it out. God play music, but saying he's supposed to go, you know. Look what he do, look at the money he make the taxes spend. Look at all of them was talking with them. Let them come back and say the same thing now. They come back and say the same thing now. They do hurry. Take your time. Drink your coffee cool, not hot. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you so much. The lines are open. I am taking every single call today. You've heard Faris's explanation. You didn't have to wait long. Within 24 hours, Faris responded. Are you comfortable with Faris's response? Caller, you live.
Aisha Wells, good afternoon to you and
doing,
to the listeners and to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm good. I learned the weather, but I'm good. Aisha Wells, I listened to Faris Alwari's speech. And in the end of this, Aisha Wells, I want to know if I'm mistaken this or if I'm correct. Wilson Nelson and then thief some money and whatever the case. He come now and say, well, hey, 2 men thief with me too, and I want to turn state witness. So then the state now fund him and pay him to become a state witness to get these 2 men arrested. Am I right? Or am I doing right?
Well,
something like that. I mean, other callers like Bataya will explain me because, you know, I'm listening there and I want to be correct because there's no side picking here. Right? I hear Bataya ask if I've gone back home yesterday. I ain't going back, no going Bataya, forward ever, backward never. Let me say good afternoon to Sister Jenny. Very educated lady. She don't be listening at us back. She don't call the show the evening too. She be calling the day. But anyway, Aisha Wells, I look at this as even if these matters is taken, Faris Alwari said it also. These matters is big money matters. And in the end of it all, it's just a few people with millions and billions of dollars of taxpayers' money spending. And yet still, they say don't talk about poor people, but let me not say poor, but it have really things to do in the country where all this money could have done something different. I mean, this man, they even pay him medical, as I understand. They paid to try to keep him alive so he could come back and testify. This man now turning back and say he's not coming and testify. So if this man dead, today or tomorrow, the case done. That's basically what I get from it. I could be wrong, but at the end of it all, it have people working night and day. It have people working 2 jobs. Just like the security who get killed the other day with the young bandits. It have people working hard to try to make ends meet. And these few men spending millions. And it has so much work to do. It has work to do in schools and everywhere else in Trinidad and Tobago. And I know they're going to talk about Brooklyn, but let me be real with this thing. This amount of millions of dollars spending in these type of matters in the end to end up with nothing, just like the airport and all the other things and the click on we need to put a stop to all this nonsense. I sure you have a good evening.
Caller, you live. Caller. Not ready yet. Caller, you live.
Let me say quickly, pleasant afternoon to you, dear journalist and former councillor.
Hi, Tabakit.
Hi. Okay, let me get right into the editorial as customary this afternoon. And where I'm going this afternoon, I'll tell you. And please help me if you can. Where the Treasury is located in Trinidad?
The Treasury is in Port of Spain.
Right. Who is the person in charge of releasing funds from the Treasury?
Trabaki, the Minister of Finance?
No. Who is not the governor of the central bank?
Well, I would assume so. I'm trying to figure out where you're going with the questions.
Well, I thank you so much for indulging me. So if it is so, money comes from the Treasury, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So let's time everything with Faris Alwari this afternoon. What is your take on the revolving door concept? You know what is the revolving door concept?
Kindly explain.
Right. So when we talk in terms of the revolving door concept, you have different political parties, but you have one set of players as where our brother Brooklyn was going. But I'm glad he touched there, and I want to put the final petal on the icing on the cake, so to speak. And in terms of the revolving door, he is correct. One set of people is feeding from the trough. And why I take my cue from the Treasury, regardless to who call here this afternoon, and defend regardless to their political affiliation, who going to lose here this afternoon is the taxpayers. Because I tell you why. For me, regardless to what Faris Alwari would have said, it's not going to solve the problem to say, look, Vincent Nelson will come in the morning and rescue us. Sister, look, this is serious business here. This is not children's day. But you talking about taxpayers' money that's coming from the Treasury, that you put a government in charge to steer this country. And what have revealed from Monday till today, to me, as a concerned citizen, I am not seeing the compass pointing in the way of the poor and vulnerable. Sister, let's face it. It has schools that is unfinished. We have roads in this country that is impassable. We have a problem with food on our plates. Tabakit, where you going? Yes, I have to go there. Because all I am hearing this evening, dear sister, is millions and billions. And when you look where the money is circulated, that is why I asked you if you could help me with the revolving door concept. And look at it. In that given justice system, that mafia system, sister, is one set of people eating, regardless to which political party. And let's look at it. It's a circle. It's a mafia system. And as I take my lead, the question I repeat again, the $1 billion question. The money comes from the Treasury, Central Bank. The finance minister is custodian and gatekeeper. Then you have the Attorney General, who is to the head of the head appellate there. And now you realize something went away. And who this afternoon is none the wiser, and I should judge you, we have to win. The poor and vulnerable tomorrow have to get up and fight. And yet still, money is coming from the Treasury as a dose assault. You have learned legal luminaries, so to speak, QC. And where money is going, backroom deals after backroom deals. Yes, I look cost tabaki. Cost nonetheless. Call me all kind of names. Destroy me. But I will say this afternoon. I told no prisoners. I am saying they're paying the citizen, they're taking the wealth of the nation and they're distributing it for the friends and family. They call it the revolving door concept. Just a different political party, the same players, and all you could cost from now till thy kingdom, the money would have been spent already. Look, Nelson got his money, and Brooklyn is right. If he died today, the matter is going to fall flat on its face. I say, take it or leave it. The revolving door concept, I say, is political prostitutes and harlot at our treasury. Tabakit out and out.
All right, Tabakit, go with God. Every line is lit. You heard Faris Salwari. Your thoughts. Caller, you live.
Aisha,
Talk to me.
Good afternoon. Good program as usual. Aisha, well, you remember the project, the highway to Point 14?
Yes, I remember.
The government in power at that time, did they take an IDB loan to fund it? Where did the money come from, Aisha?
The Treasury.
That same revolving door this dotish man is speaking about. What they did, they took money from the Treasury on a monthly basis to fund that big program, billions of dollars. The man take and end up in Brazil, leave the country. What foolishness is man speaking about? Normally a project like that, you take an IDB loan, International Development Bank loan, to fund those projects. What foolishness he doing? He talking inconveniently? He getting me so upset. They must be truthful and honest. That's the problem in Trinidad. People too ungrateful. Good program, Aisha. Listening, Doctor, and we'll talk about the other issues about Mr. Iwer and other things.
All right, no problem, darling. All right, clear your head and call me back. Caller, you live?
Good afternoon, Aisha.
Hi, Gemma.
Aisha, what happened to Tabaki? He forget all what happened 2010 to 2015? He forget it? Eh? That woman said, I am going to make a government ungovernable, and she's going all out to do it. And the coffee man are asking him what he dragged that coffee all over this country for. Up to now, he never answered me. Only making live with Annie Roberts and saying what's that nonsense every evening. What wrong with them? They just forget that cookie or what?
Caller, you live?
Hi, sister. Good evening.
Hey.
I had to be a fool for that man who gets my award to come to tell me. Imagine that. You're trying to use this to clear these two fellas to tell me that the government's spending taxpayers' dollars on a revolving door. So don't pursue them. Well, listen to me, Mr. Tabaki. If these men didn't steal my taxpayers' dollars, I would not have been in this position to spend taxpayers' dollars to pursue them. Because if you check, and Logan, if you listen to the Attorney General alone, he gets over $1 billion for the Attorney General office. And he spent 600 and something million already. So let me explain to you. If you listen to the former AG, he outlined that Mr. Gaspar was attempting to use to go after Vincent Nelson based on the statement that the Office of the Attorney General received from Vincent Nelson that was given to Mr. Gaspar. But because no money is paid in Israel, you hear what the Attorney General said to the end of the statement? And you have one, you realize TV6 wasn't there, right? Guardian, which is the UNC's favorite station, and this next man, I don't know who he come out from, I never see on TV, I never see TV station in my life yet. Those two interviewers. One, you know his Guardian is a diehard. What his name is? Ashrak Samaroy drive me, no good godfather. But anyhow. So, Mr. Tarakis, my Attorney General said to me that Vincent Nelson is claiming, because he lost his position, he is claiming for money from this state. You understand what I'm saying, Aisha, right? You working in the radio station and you get in a problem, and because you get in a problem now, you want the radio. You want me to pay you for the job that you lost by the radio station. That is what was outlined to me. I don't understand what they're trying to tell me, and the Attorney General tell me what. Because you have gone there, I shall outline to all they are giving. This deal didn't start with no police investigation in Trinidad and Tobago. This started with Vincent Nelson trying to avoid taxation in England. So the English government writes to the Trinidad government, so the first person we talk to beside the Prime Minister where legal matters are concerned, because you can run the country with two people. Who is the CEO insurance? The Attorney General and the Prime Minister. And that's so. So, if a country calls this country on a legal matter, the Prime Minister's duty is to hand it over to who? The Attorney General. The Attorney General spoke to Vincent Nelson, and whatever deal he made, then he handed whatever documents and whatever information he received from the UK and Vincent Nelson to corroborate Vincent Nelson's story, he handed over to the DPP. And Vincent Nelson took the state to court for money that he accused that he would have gotten or lost. Right, Mr. Tarakis? So they didn't thieve the money. I would not have spent all this money to run all your down. right? And as a former Attorney General, I was like, this is only one out of several that Mr. Annan has. So as I realized, on Monday they didn't walk around and waving the big flag and start to preach about God is a good God and how they say, they disappear and get quiet, you even hearing them. The only person talking on behalf of them is the opposition leader trying to convince me that my attorney or my former Attorney General heard. I'm trying to accuse him of paying Vincent Nelson. Well, until such time and the matter go to court, we will know. But for now, that story she come with it, she had to go back and sleep. Enjoy evening, Aisha.
Thank you so much. Let's go again. Caller, you're live.
Yes, Mr. Aisha, good evening. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Sorry for talking like that yesterday, but I'm coming in this evening. Mr. Tabakit, let me tell you something. It's only when the PLM government spend money is taxpayers and poor people money. Why you don't ask Kamala what money she can buy build the heliport in her yard? Why you don't ask her that? That is not taxpayers' money. The 500 million cut notes $100 bill that ain't come back in the treasury yet. That is not taxpayers' money. Where it is? Is it out of Trinidad or it down in the Philippines? Why is only when PNM have any problem with money spending? All the money that Anand and Ramloga and Ramdeen is charged for embezzlement. Why you don't? That is not taxpayers' money. That is not poor taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago money. Tabakit, all of get it right, you know. And a gentleman called before, more or less he was the second caller. You all get it right, you know. All the money that is being spent is taxpayers' money by all governments. You know, Mr. Pandey did spend $65,000 for doing Piaco, and that case still going on. He went to jail for a week and say because of a medical condition he had to come out. And he and his wife was charged. She never worked one day and she had so much millions of dollars. That is not taxpayers' money, poor people taxpayers' money. All you get it right here. All you feel that everybody in this country is fool. That is what all you think. And I got to take all you on, you know. I'm going to take you all on. Yeah.
Thank you, Monk St. George. Go with God. Go with God. Never took you personal yesterday. Just wanted you to know. Thanks for the apology. Caller, you're live.
Bless good afternoon, Aisha Wells. Illinois Point Fortin again.
Talk to me, my love.
Aisha, what's going on, sister? Well, my tell let the man talk.
Yesterday, you say you wanted to hear the man talk. Now the man talk. Irvin, what is your thoughts?
I am totally satisfied with what the man say.
Okay.
Will we follow the box and see what the man say balance? And he said balance, it balance. And let me tell you something. Well, if what the man say hold up, well, then I think Miss Kamala made a mistake with how she was reading because she blamed me.
You think it was a mistake, boy? Or you think it was purposely done?
Aisha.
Oh.
Girl, what's my idea? Nobody there? I respect Faris. If that people respect Faris, and let me go through the process. He without sin, let them tell Big Stone.
He ain't wait to run out. He come out in 24 hours of being called out.
Thank you.
And that says something.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
And he explained a lot. Sister, you and the entire team, all you have to continue to have a blessed day.
Thank you, my brother. And I can't wait to have you back as part of the team.
All right. Time the shot, sis.
All right, brother. All the best to you.
Blessed.
Irvin Felix on the inside there, man. Caller, you live.
Hello, good afternoon, Aisha.
Hi.
How you doing? What's up? What the day was like?
So far, so good. I'm not even complaining.
Yeah, you know, I learned to kind of lock off complaining. You know, if you look to the right and you look to the left, you see people who need to complain. So I just be grateful for every time I have health, strength, and the ability to move forward. Need a little work on the edges. Aisha, thanks for that. Let me tell you something, Aisha. It's from my heart about 91.9 and the big boss, Iwer. What all leaders do, priceless, you know, so trust what I tell anyway. What all leaders do is a real great. Aisha, every politician does be locked onto your program because it is very informative. It is open. You all don't deny the other people. What I'm saying is that is a technique. Remember, at time they'd read out a report in the parliament, and that was it sub judice or something like that. That ended up making the case that they was bringing get dashed out because it was laid in the public. And apparently, like that is the technique to deal with according to one of the callers, the high mafia. You know, you come out and you make some accusations with the information that you would get from the people they have planted in the judiciary and stuff like that, and we all know about leaks in the judiciary. And then you come out and you're making a statement knowing full well that if there is a response, two things could happen. Either the person responds and the case fall, or the unintelligent side of the public fall for it and start to judge the case in the public and thereby trying to build a matter to make the, and it's a, let me tell you, there is no, let me tell you, I believe, cut me off when you're ready if I'm taking too long. I believe Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bissessa really don't want to be in the politics. I tell you all in my mind. I believe that she does not have a choice. There are bigger hands clapping behind her. And these things are deliberate. But the intelligence is growing in the country. And we're seeing through all the very high, deeply evil spiritual games that playing in this country. Aisha, thanks for allowing me this contribution. People are proud of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a good mind and we know what to look for now because we have experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wow, wow, wow. Caller, you live?
Aisha Wells.
Oi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
I ain't seeing your picture on the screen, you know. I'm dead.
I took it down for a bit.
Because I kind of despondent. I ain't seen it.
All right, yeah. I don't want you to see what I'm wearing. That's why I take it up. And next thing I hear, my wife need a jersey like that. My wife need a shoe like that. Not today.
No, I don't want to see how we want to make sure you have a nice suit, though, boy.
Yeah, boy, you suit nice.
And if you get that local or abroad, boy.
Well, should make a contribution.
Aisha, I am happy to see that Mr. Faris Alrawi came out immediately and responded to what the UNC said, because, you see, as I said, you know, we have PNM people in HDD, but we also have the UNC in HDD. Because when David Lee was charged by the DPP, they said the DPP is a PNM. Now the DPP have discontinued the case against RNL, right? They're happy. So that is why that is hypocritical, deceitful, and disingenuous. You see? But Aisha, did you see the next political leader of the PNM was in Washington speaking before the Senate? Did you see that? Or you didn't see it?
I saw somebody share it on social media.
Oh, yeah, boy, Aisha. And you know, Aisha, the speech
when was that?
Prime Ministerial.
When
that was today.
Today? What's she doing
today? Today. I mean, what's she doing there? You know what I mean? They invited her to come and speak.
Interesting.
And she was Prime Ministerial, you know, but she hit it out the park, but West Indies need to hire her because they need somebody to hit some sixes. And boy, Karen Nunes, she hit about 5-6 of theirs. 6 ball like she, and she hit 5-6, I said. The next one was a 4. So she scored, I said, 34 runs, you know. In our over, you know. But I said it is happy to see that, you know, it's about time the PNM need a female leader. The PNM has never had a female leader. Never, never, never. And I think this is the year you woman, Aisha Wells. But Aisha Wells, how come I didn't see you on none of these slates, Aisha Wells? What happened?
I doing on the slates, Wall Street. I had to go. I go on Wall Street. I have a break to take. I got to go. Just reminding you guys that we're heading to Tobago. Don't forget, we're going to be heading over to Tobago for Tobago's Carnival, yeah? Remember, it goes down on the 24th to the 30th. That's right, you heard me, the 24th to the 30th of October 2022. Tickets are just $200 at islandtickets.com or the Street 919 office at Spence Plaza in Tobago. Walk with your food and your cooler. On the 24th, it's Pan on the boat from 12 to 4. On the 25th, it's Kaiso on the boat from 12 to 4 and the 6 to 10. On the 26th, it's Chutney on the boat from 12 to 4, 6 to 10. On the 27th, it is Water on the boat from 12 to 4, 6 to 10. And on the 28th, it's Power Soca on the boat from 12 to 4. And on the 29th, it's Groovy Soca on the boat from 6 to 10. And Juvie on the boat from 12 to 4. Remember, for more information, call 281-4723 or 363-4030 or 368-1932 or Embassy Cruises for bookings on Facebook or embassycruises@gmail.com. We'll be back. Stay with us.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Want to furnish your home in style? Stylus Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Atelier's Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 51 Rushwood Street in San Fernando. Stylus Furniture, for the style in you.
Make today a lucky day with KFC Lucky 7 bucket. Savings never taste so good. KFC in your neighborhood. 7 pieces are delicious. Mouth water and chicken. 5 regular size for $1.17. Now that's savings. KFC Lucky 7 bucket. 7 bucket. We're lucky with KFC.
Happy to save with a KFC Lucky 7 bucket for only $117.
We're lucky with KFC.
Everything is Mud and Great Vet Weekend present Mud is Life. Mud is life. Tobago, are you ready for Mud and Mud? Mud and more mud. Everything is mud. Mud is life. Mud mass in many life-giving colors. Mud is life. Come alive. Join the vibes. This is the first official Tobago Juve. Let us open the carnival with the biggest, dirtiest, most beautiful mud mass in history. Mud is life. Saturday, 29th October, 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. Crown Point, Tobago. Everything is mud. Mud and mud. Mud and more mud. Mud is life. Come down.
The first premier event of Tobago Carnival 2022. The ultimate carnival premier event. Your event celebrity cast. Starring Showin Winchester, Farmer Nabi, Viking Ding Dong, Swap Dan Swappy, Mr. Oscar B, the beautiful Adana, Mr. Iwer George, straight out of St. Vincent, Skinny Fabulous, Patrice Roberts, the soca queen herself, will be gracing the stage live with all her massive hits. October 25th, Pigeon Point Beach, Heritage Park. Are you ready?
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division? Yes, sir. I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries. Excuse me, sir? Is it true? You have batteries selling for $488?
Yes, Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I could buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arrowbita Avenue, Woodbrook.
And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago.
You could call 63 Tools.
All right. Thanks, boss. Nah, man. Granny,
do you have $488 to lend, man?
91.9 Bago Bashment presents On Board the Embassy Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week.
Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Weekend.
Boarding at the Pigeon Point Jetty. Kicking things off from the 24th to the 30th of October. Walk with your food and coolers. Come experience October 24. Pan on the Boat, October 25th. ISO on the Boat, October 26th. Chutney on the Boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. The party continues October 27th. Water on the Boat, October 28th. Power Soca, October 29th. Groovy on the Boat, October 30th. Juve on the Boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. For tickets, call 281-4723-363-4030 or 368-1932 or check us out on Facebook at Embassy Cruises for bookings or email at embassycruises@gmail.com. Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend.
Hi, Trinidad and Tobago. This is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, Marvel Road, 91.9. Our services start from, 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning from the first, the second, and last Wednesday of the month. We are going to have a TRME time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Tune in to the best station, 91.5 FM Street Live, Port of Spain, Maribel.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845-349-5178 or 342-7303.
91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Yes, 91 days of Christmas. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas.
It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Right here on the street 919 FM. Each and every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with yours truly, MC Duke, alongside Selector Kochi. So make it a date and don't be late. Rock and come in, so line up, link up, creep up. You don't know reggae rock each and every Sunday. Salute Gadamawe, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, good looking people. We are back. I see your phone calls and I also have some voice notes to play. So I'm going to play my voice notes after this phone call. Caller, you live?
Hey, good afternoon, Aisha, and to all your listeners.
How are you?
First, I want to commend the past attorney. He was the past attorney general, right?
You want to commend Faris?
Hello?
Faris Alwari? Not sure what happened. Feel free to call us back. All right, let me get the voice notes in very quickly. All right, so how are we looking?
Aisha, hello, good day. What you need to do is to get an attorney to come on radio and explain this whole situation, because I still believe people don't understand what it is going on with this whole case with Nelson, Ramlogan, Ramdeen.
Aisha, Aisha, good evening. Please don't listen to Robert Amar. He still have the losing Toyota franchise. He still have that tabanka. Right now, he's out looking for things. And plus, he jealous you with a cheap Chinese man, a young, a fat, and a nice. Don't listen to him. Don't discuss it. Aisha, good afternoon. I just want to tell you, stop letting Aisha, you're making Robert Amar go in your head. That man frustrated how they lost the Toyota franchise. He have nothing to do, and you are allowing him to get into your head. Plus, Japanese are Chinese looking. You have 3 Chinese men walking around with, and he's jealous that a young, a fat, and a nice. Don't answer Amar, let him grind. Aisha, you're making Robert Amar go in your head. That man frustrated how they lost the Toyota franchise.
Good afternoon, Queen atop Miss Aisha Wells. Why it is or how come? We would like to know. If the PNM call a press conference, the PNM executive had to answer question. And Miss Camilla Bissessa will call a press conference and nobody asks you no question.
Well, it's hard to see that people who condemned the Attorney General yesterday, the former Attorney General yesterday, and look now, the man come and talk something, put a whole different spin and a whole different picture of what's really going on.
Yes, good afternoon, Aisha. My question to Kamala is, why is it she always goes on her platforms to make allegations about other people and is not willing to take questions from the press as her accusers are? You understand? She needs to go before the press, make these statements, and open herself to questions.
Good afternoon. This is what I heard. I was in the chair, I sought advice, I took advice, I mocked it up. That is what the AG admitted to. He mocked it up. Because if you hire 2 learned attorneys to seek advice in a matter, and these 2 persons obtained a notarized signed statement which is to be used as evidence to prosecute other persons, was the question asked, are these 2 learned attorneys going to the court to give evidence to state how and in what capacity they obtained this notarized statement? Or were they hired by the state to prosecute in line with the DPP on behalf of the DPP and the state, persons involved in this corrupted state brief affair? Did any learned attorney, the AG himself, ask that question? How could you seek advice from someone and those persons obtain information and evidence which is now to be used in a prosecutorial matter, and they not attending court to give the evidence of how they came into being with the statement and in what capacity? That's basic common sense in law, chain of evidence. You can't just guess something and put it in court and say this is it and this is legit. What nonsense. The Attorney General mock it up, plain and simple. You know, it never surprised me how all it does allow these racist, illiterates, basement fools, Laventil bebes, and beat-em clowns to talk a pack and a mile of rubbish and sit comfortably by and just allow them to. And then all they want to help educate black people, edify black people, but all they allow these imps to rant and rave continuously on a daily basis with the nonsense. So Tabakit wasn't concerned about the poor people money from the treasury when the UNC was thieving out the money for years. Why you think the Ram and Ram matter is because of the UNC thieving taxpayers' money? This is what the whole case is about. They're not concerned about that. They always want somebody in the PNM to go and to move. But they have a set of corrupt practitioners sitting in Parliament, the David Lees, the Naked, the Anna Roberts, live sport, 34. A man live with 34 million and come back, have lead the country, come back years later when he feel things quiet down, and Bola was just a drop in the bucket. And the man who loved to go leave the country to and come back and still get to sit in our Parliament after years of disappearance of the seat because there was hunting him because he named calling some other criminal matter involving a DJ and his wife. So Tabaki them wasn't concerned about taxpayers' money then. Brooklyn them wasn't concerned about taxpayers' money then. These illiterate, racist, house slave, mentally imbued, clueless bunch of fools. And all it is just allow them to hurt up people's ears on a daily basis. All it just as bad, the upholder just as bad as the thief. And just to quantify what I mean by allowing these idiots to lambaste and lambaste people ears on a daily basis. Democracy means majority rules. That means if 100 people say no and 10 people say yes, the 100 people will be deemed correct, even if the 10 don't like it. So if you watch the YouTube and the Facebook chat and comments, you have dozens of people telling you they don't want to hear Tabaki, they don't want to hear Kingsley, they don't want to hear...
Let me pause you there, Reggie. I suggest you go on the YouTube and the Facebook now and read people tired of you sending long voice notes, calling people names. They don't consider you to be the brightest voice noter, among other things. And I allow you to speak for a long period of time, voice note after voice note. So sometimes, Reginald Rose, humility is key. Because while you may express one view of others, the people online ain't really too fond of you. And others allow it. So I'll continue your voice note. But I had to stop there and interject for, for clarity purposes.
Listen, they don't want to hear Wall Street, they don't want to hear Brooklyn because of the constant nonsense and diatribe that's repeat that makes no useful contribution to anything except jackassery every day, all day. Dozens of people, but 3 or 4 people call you on the phone and say, yes, allow them. Because the hypocrites want to have somebody to talk to because they can't talk the facts on their own accord. You allow these people to jackass the scene every day in people's ears. Eh? That is not democracy. That is tabloid bacchanalia. Plain and simple.
All right, thanks. We got you. We got you. And all you go easy on the live now, please. Let's go.
Aisha, a pleasant afternoon again, my dear. So you see how I just sit back and listen. Yesterday, Mr. Tabakit was calling for Mr. Faris Alwari to resign, to step down, to do all sorts of things because he run with what his political leader, Kamala, said. Today, he come on a different spin and talking about taxpayers' money in the treasury. What Tabakit feel we are out here? I don't know by where these people just get the language from to try and feel if they could tie we up. But we out here and we are aware of what's happening. Thank you, my dear. Well said, caller. That is what I'm telling you. Tabakit only talking lala for way.
Aisha, good afternoon to you. I listened to Tabakit a while ago. Tabakit, don't forget, millions of dollars gone up in the highway project under the UNC. Millions of dollars gone up in the NGC that they take. Millions of dollars gone up in false papers to get job for the constituents and so on that they never get back. Millions of dollars in the water project that never materialized. And that is a tip of the iceberg. You understand what I'm coming? platform. So, Mr. Tabakit, we didn't hear you for all these days. Better you continue staying off the air. We don't want to hear you. You understand? It's only corruption Kamala coming with. You understand? She no better than the PNM. She better go and resign.
Dan Stanford.
All the money under the UNC, Aisha, it gone to Brazil and the Philippines. They take it and they go on with it, millions under the UNC. You understand? So them shouldn't say nothing at all. Them need to shut up.
Danton Ford, it is a man. It is not a woman. Okay? I can't say it enough.
I said, where is the boy? Good afternoon, good afternoon. They say women have more belly than a man when it comes to doing things in ways and listening to things. You have real belly in the stomach, you know, to listen to Kingsley. You understand? And Tabakit. And the next one from State, he's saying he's a professor. You real somebody to listen to them fellas who makes no sense. And I hear Tabakit to talk just now, I switch up my radio to hear Batteria coming after. Because I can't listen to you, they're making no sense. He's a wardy, and that's all he talking about. He's a wardy, and he wardy. But he's a waste of time. Look for the fellow with the red canna, boy.
Good afternoon. So we hearing what Kamala say, and we hearing what Alwari say. Right? PDP discontinue the case, the magistrate show it off. Show it out, right? That would have happened, right? Dismiss the magistrate, dismiss it. DDP discontinue. Obviously, he could charge. After 3 months, he could really charge. But nobody is saying what Pamela Elra saying. Nobody hearing what she's saying. Well, all right. Well, I go hush for now. Right? I go hush for now. And here when they go hear me back, you see when this case finally end, and the state have to pay them $2 million, then they go hear my mouth. But all I listen and read what Pamela is saying now, the attorney for the defense. Listen what she said. That's all I had to say.
All right, so I'm back. Voice notes are on the whole. Calls are coming through. We're going to go directly to it. Caller, you live?
Hi, good evening, Aisha.
How you doing, love?
Very, very good. Now, you see, my thing is that I heard both sides, but with respect to the former Attorney General this afternoon, I'm a little bit, I'll have to wait again, because all I want to know, or all my concern is, I'm hoping that the advice he got doesn't implicate the case, that's all, right? But I know it's something that it would be further for Mr. Sabisa Sunday, because it always feel that they want something. But the DPP was correct. And I want people to understand that the gentleman who spoke before in relation to gentlemen going to get millions, it doesn't just happen just like that. They have to take now the government to court and go through a case as to whether or not they were wrongfully charged. Now, Chinese like to pronounce on things where they feel that because a case is lost or a case is discontinued, as though it's going to cost the state millions of dollars. And I want them to know, every ministry has a budget to cater for these sort of things. So Trini always concerned about the money, and last time I was speaking about those on the fence and the money. All your weight. Because one aspect of governance where that probably could be flawed doesn't make the government look as if they're not doing the correct thing generally. Some people don't understand that. The gentleman I find was really disrespectful today to tell people about who to should call and who not. I find you run your program, I would listen to Abakit and rebut. It's a debate. People will come and they would say, even in the parliament, you have people saying one set of crazy thing and and they have to respond. Radio program is the same thing. People say things that we here have to debunk. And I love it so. You can't be in a room where everybody agreeing with everything. There must be a sort of opposing view to have a contrasting a conversation on contrasting ideas. So I don't know why this person have to go at length with trying to disrespect and that kind of thing, but I feel I'm in agreement with people calling and we rebutting. I'm in agreement with that. But again, I am just hoping that the whole advice that the former Attorney General got doesn't implicate that case when the continuance, when it's shaped to continue. That's all I have to say, Aisha. Thank you.
All right, Rowley Jr., go with God. Caller, you live?
Aisha Wells, good afternoon, Aisha Wells. And I want to say, very good contribution, Rowley Jr. Because it's not the first night or the first day or the first program that this guy, Reginald Rose, with a fake profile, Aisha Wells, this talk nonsense for children who listening to this program. If he think he is so intelligent, he need to go back and replay. Because all of you who calling here her real profile. His profile is a fake. It seemed to me, and I don't want to go down the road like him because he's very disrespectful. And I don't know who he's trying to educate with his sort of disrespectful talk he does be talking every afternoon. You understand? Very, very disrespectful. If people don't know if he's a girl or a boy, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to know who he is. But
don't do that. If you make
no, I'm not going. No, I said I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, if you want to rebut what he is saying, fine. But don't, don't bother on trying to insult whether he's
but I hear him call Brooklyn this afternoon. But I even speak about the airport. Who was the government in power with the airport scandal? Was the UNC? Who was the government in power with the Clico scandal? Was the UNC? So why he coming and calling people and talking and nonsense? I never said nothing about the PNM bad. I said we have to get to the bottom of this and fix the problem for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. How wrong was that Bataya call after me and he didn't say nothing wrong about what I said? But he coming to talk, but he don't what we call the program. He alone want to call and talk disrespectful talk. Try to sound intelligent and sound illiterate on the radio every afternoon. It's not the first afternoon. He continued to do it and talk like if you understand. But again, Reginald Rose, get a real profile and come off that fake profile. I shall have a good evening.
Go with God. Let's not make it personal. Stick to the issue. Caller, you live.
A blessed evening, Mr. Iwer.
Hey, how you doing, love?
The word is pre-trial publicity. If you ever watching, you see what happening is in this case. Mr. Nelson have a matter with not Mr. Alwari, but with the Attorney General concerning indemnity. We have to move the person out of the ground, bring the office, because this is what we're dealing with right now. So until that matter is settled, Anand Ramlogan and Gerald Ramdeen, all the information about all you, Ms. David in public office is still there before the DTP. Thank you very much, Ms. Aisha.
All right, thank you so much. The lines are open. We continue to take your calls 22 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock.
Good evening, Aisha. Miss Ella can say what she wants. She's being paid for that. That is why she's representing him, so she could say what she wants.
Thank you. Caller, you live.
Yeah, Aisha, that caller before this last caller is so right. Pre-trial publicity. She tried that, she got through with that with Anna Rose's life force. You remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, so she said again. That is the Cambridge Analytica playbook. She using right one. Lies, false. So, boy, good program, I love. So,
thank you, brother. All the best.
Good afternoon, Aisha.
All right, let's go. You're live.
Good afternoon, Aisha. Talk fast. I want to get cut off again. So I was saying, you see the class where the former Attorney General, you see when he had the speech, he took questions. When Kamala had speech, she never take questions, and she was slurring yesterday. Now they're talking about money and the taxpayers. What happened to all them people that they had in office with false papers, and the people was collecting salary? Did any one of them let them give back the money, return the money back? What about the helicopter place where she built on top of the house? What about the man who gone away with all the millions of dollars? That wasn't the taxpayers' money. And they coming out and talking all this nonsense. Okay. I know I talk fast, but I didn't want to get cut off again.
Trust me, love, I understand. Thank you. Be safe. Let's go.
Bye.
You're live.
Bye.
Caller, you're live.
Aisha.
Old PNM Jama, will you come out?
Right here. I want to tell Wall Street, we ain't ready for a woman prime minister right now. So let him keep a prime minister woman up in Wall Street, right in America there. We ain't ready for none yet. So let him leave Dr. Rowley alone. Mr. Wall Street. Stay on his street.
Hey, Gemma, you on TV, you're batting for 6, girl.
Aisha, good afternoon.
Right, sorry you got cut off. Caller, you live.
Sorry. Aisha, you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I want to finish something that Barataya started, and he alluded to. Nelson, and it came out very clear to me with what Mr. Alvari said. Nelson is suing the state because he feels that he lose money because of a matter. That is what I got from it, right? I don't know if you got that.
Go ahead.
He's using a UNC lawyer to do that matter. My concern is if and or when he loses that case, will he be willing to come forward and give the evidence? That is my concern.
Okay, so you're wondering if he's going to be bitter.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to add to that, if that is the case and they have the written evidence, can that not be used now?
Okay, good question.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't win, then he has no need to fight a matter. He might as well get some of the money they are hiding and say, boy, hold that and nobody to tell you out. It's as simple as that. All right, good day, Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see who else is there. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Caller, are you there?
Hi, Miss Wells.
Hi.
Miss Wells, you see, some of us PNM people, because we believe that we stand on the right political side, sometimes we think it's okay to shut up those who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. Now, that particular voice noter has to learn to pat it down. Right? Now, there's nothing wrong in rebutting what Mr. Tabaki or Mr. Kingsley or Mr. Anderson, etc., would say. Right? Now, I personally find they get a very long time to say nothing. But again, you can't come out here talking to people as if they are fools. You can't call people fools. Right? The PNM has always been a party of respect first. We have lost on account of it, we have won on account of it. And you would know that, Ms. Wells. Now, with regards to the former Attorney General, this is what he said. Now, again, we need to stop just saying things by hearing snippets. We have to listen to the entirety. He said the government, at the point in time, and the Attorney General's office was faced with basically what you call a catch-22, right? If I were to paraphrase it. And this is what he said. He said, if evidence comes forward of corruption, what do you expect the government of the day to do? Sit on their laurels or to act? He said he sought advice and he acted. Now, if I were to put it like now, there's evidence there, no? Because you will also hear that there's evidence that is being considered to be entered if there were to be a trial.
Caller, we have 40 seconds. 40
right, so,
seconds.
So just to make it quick, what I'm saying, Aisha, is that this man is a pathological man. The Queen's Counsel is a pathological man. Are we sure to get anything from him? We're not too sure about that.
All right, thank you so much.
So at least we have something.
You ought to call me back, love. I'm going for a break, and I'm reminding you, it all goes down in Tobago from the week of the 24th to the 30th of October 2022. Tickets on sale, $200 at islandtickets.com or the Street 919 office. It is the Embassy Yacht, and it heads to Tobago for Tobago Carnival.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Yes, 91 days of Christmas. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas.
91.9 Bago Bashment presents On Board the Embassy Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Week. Tobago Carnival Boat Ride Weekend. Boarding at the Pigeon Point Jetty. Kicking things off from the 24th to the 30th of October. Walk with your food and coolers. Come experience October 24th. Pan on the boat. October 25th. ISO on the boat. October 26th. Chutney on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. The party continues October 27th. Water on the boat. October 28th. Power Soca. October 29th. Groovy on the boat. October 30th. Juve on the boat. Tickets are $200. Available at islandetickets.com or 91.9 FM Tobago. For tickets, call 814723-363-4030 or 368-1932 or check us out on Facebook at Embassy Cruises for bookings or email at embassycruises@gmail.com. Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend. Tobago Carnival Ride Weekend.
The murder toll continues to rise. The nation is in mourning tonight.
3 people have been found dead.
A soldier was shot dead at
a quadruple murder in Beverly Hills, Laventille.
Where are we right now? We say bring back love.
Bring back love.
How we end up here today.
Bring back peace.
Bring back peace. Be your brother's keeper. We say bring back peace on the street.
I want peace. I want peace. Bring back peace on the street.
Bring back peace on the street.
Bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love. No greater time for peace.
October will never be better. With Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
The Street Mass in Tobago. On your street mass in Tobago. Where the uniqueness of Tobago comes alive. With its cons, creatives produce music, craft, mass, literature, and other memorabilia that ignites the history and creativity of Tobago. It's the Street Mass in Tobago, right here on the street. 919 FM.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108.
Join Nicole Huggins for Health and Wealth Lifestyle Tuesday morning from 11:05 to 12 noon. Right here on the street, 919 FM.
This is the voice of Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist. We are preaching Emergency Alert broadcast, which is from the Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist Church. We will be featuring voices of brethren from different parts of the world, preaching the gospel, preaching prophecy as it relates to current events and the ending of the world. Listen to us on 91.9 FM every Sunday from 9:05 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sundays. May God bless you as you learn the truth. In Jesus' name, amen.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., to the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Law and You, and every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All Night Prayer Live, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282. or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, good looking people. We are back. On the line. Caller, you live?
Hi, sister. Thanks
My
for
dear
taking
brother.
me. I want you to understand something. This man, and the reason why I voted for this government again in 2020, because I used to boast that my Attorney General made an arrangement that if Vincent Nelson died, his evidence could still stand up in court. You know what I'm telling you? And that was confirmed this afternoon. So let me explain this thing again. The UK government spoke to the Trinidad and Tobago government. Vincent Nelson went to court in 2020, between 2019 to 2020. So you understand, we had an election. Right? And this, the opposition with these same men tell themselves they're going to get back in office. So they are playing a game with the intention that they get back in office, that I could get another Section 34 for the Ramjack faction. But anyhow, let's move on. Vincent Nelson went to court in Trinidad and Tobago, right? I shall say, I'm telling you, went to trial based on the evidence Vincent Nelson gave to the Attorney General. Somebody asked that question, how the lawyers who advise the Attorney General to go to court. They don't have to go to court. The person who has to go to court is the Attorney General at the time. Anytime anything has to go to court, he goes to court to represent the state because he was the person The advice that he gets